there is still hope for you. You may have lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. He's with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. You may have lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. He's with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. You may have lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. He's with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. You may have lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. He's with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. You may have lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. He's with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. You may have lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. He's with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. You may have lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. He's with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. Hello and good evening again from Atlanta, Georgia. This is your host, Frank Ofosu-Appiah, welcoming you to another episode of Tuesdays with the Ambassador of Hope, episode number 121 on this cold January evening. But you know something? We soldier on. We are the die-hard generation. So long as there's a heartbeat in your chest and breath in your nostrils, you are a winner. It's going to be okay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come your way. And I trust that we're going to be better because we are learning together. You know, when you get better, things around you get better. It's a fact, my friend. And so that is why we are here, that week by week by week by week, we come alongside you to learn together with you. So thank you again, and God bless you. Listen, you know what we do. We ain't going to stop. Anything that is worth hearing is worth sharing. You know, there's a story in the Old Testament about some 4 lepers who were ostracized because of their condition. There was famine in the city. They were outside the city. The prospects were not going to be good. Then one of them got a brainwave. A light went up in his brain, and he asked a very powerful, poignant question. He said, why do we sit here until we die? You know, for many people, this is a question that you must answer this year. Why do you sit here until you die? But when the miracle came and they were eating all they can and canning all they could eat, one of them also said something very, very powerful. He said, what we are doing is not right. For this is a day of good news, and we are keeping it to ourselves. And for many of you, what you are doing is not right. You cannot keep Tuesdays with the ambassador of hope to yourself. So please, let's do ourselves a big time favor this year and let us share. So please pick up your device as I'm picking up mine and let's share again. We're going to share again. So let's do that. Shall we? Let's do that. It's very important to me and for you to do that. Get somebody. Sometimes things fight people. They forget. They don't see the notifications. Sometimes people tell me, I don't get the notifications anymore. Since I do not control all of these things, come on, let's do it together, shall we? Come on, let's do it. Just share. Begin to share with other people. Just go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Go ahead. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So let's do it. Go ahead. And I want to welcome the Honorable Nana Nimo. Nana, welcome. Pastor David Yawon Kroma, Nashville, Tennessee is in the house. Thank you very much. Christy, I hope you are doing well and my people are doing very well. President, my miracle lady, forever our miracle lady. Anita, God bless you. Gloria, hello to you. And all the way from cold New York, the Bronx, the heart of Bronx, Pastor Festus, God bless you. Eliezer, good evening to you. My woman of God, Bishop Grace, all the way from Kenya. Amazing country. Good evening to you, one of God. We salute you. God richly so much bless you. Jocelyn Ahofe, good to have you. Good evening, the Nanajua. Listen, something is about to happen. Nanajua is dropping one with MOG. You don't want to miss this one. You do not want to miss it. Please, whatever it is, it's on all platforms. It's happening. I'm going to get the date. I'm going to get a flyer. We're going to show it to you. Please, let's learn to support our own. Amazing, awesome. Let's do it, shall we? If you don't do it, you're going to be in my bad books. I have some bad books. You know, I'm kidding, but listen, let's support Nana. Congratulations to Gabondi Ofosu-Appiah. Yes, we are all doing very well. God bless you. Alfred Akosa, God bless you. Adam Mate is in the house. Listen, let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. It's wisdom time. It's wisdom time. A whole lot of people are in the house. Let's see, who have we got on YouTube? Yeah, God bless you. Brandon is in the house. Lulu, good evening to you. Daniel Soldier, God bless. Liz, good evening to you. I hope you are doing very well. Ethel from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm not even about to ask you how is Minnesota. I think I can sense it already. But God bless you. I know it's El Nino year, but man, you can't escape that thing. Eunice, good evening to you. So good to have you. God bless you, daughter. So good to have you. Miriam, God bless you. Yes, the dream will become a reality. Whatever it is. Greetings, my eagle, Daniel the eagle. You know, when it begins to snow in Dallas, Texas, then you know that you have to be an ambassador of hope. God richly bless you. Let's go. Please share. Share. I want to see the numbers go up a little bit so that people can be blessed because of it is on. Let's do it. It is on. Let's all go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Share. Please share. Good evening to you, daughter Kedin. I hope you are doing very well. God richly bless you. Yes, Nazil, God bless. Yes. Oh, thank you. All right. Nizar, you were in the leadership conference in Sunyani. I hope you are blessed. God bless you. Yes, Elim City, we are with you on your 10th anniversary. It's going to be epic. Greg, God bless you. Naomi, good evening to you. We have a whole lot of you here. Listen, yesterday in these United States of America, it was a national holiday in honor of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know, I'm sure almost everybody who has access to news or history, you may have heard of Dr. Martin Luther King. He was a voice that, you know, through nonviolent means, just like his mentor Mahatma Gandhi, the great one of India, wanted to use nonviolence means for human rights. He jarred the conscience of a nation, to jar the ignoble ideology of racism and segregation and hatred just because of skin color that is only skin deep. Dr. Martin Luther King was raised in a preacher's home. His dad was a preacher, Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., you know, and his biography tells us that he had as a growing up, he had a front row seat, you know, whenever the leaders of the community came around to talk about civil rights and how to fight all the injustices, you know, so one way or the other, his life was set in a particular tangent. You know, Dr. King earned a PhD in June 1955 at a very young age, just 26 years. The man was precocious. He was something else, you know, from the Boston University. And he had a short life. And I remember listening to him one day and he talked about the fact that longevity has its place. He would love to live a long life. But if it doesn't happen, at least He lived his life for the ideals that he believed in. Dr. King was a gifted orator. I mean, he still holds people spellbound. Anytime I've gone to the MLK Center, which is a few miles south of where we are speaking from, I can stand forever. Sometimes in the old Ebenezer Baptist Church where they play his sermons over and over. I mean, it's just amazing. You just have to listen to A Knock at Midnight. It's just amazing. Or The Measure of a Man. Powerful, powerful orator, powerful preacher. But probably his greatest and most enduring speech was the one that I'm sure all of you know. I have a dream. I have a dream. He gave that at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on March 28th, 1963. And in that dream, Dr. King eloquently set his dream for an America which amongst many things will not judge people just by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I quote him. And that informs my topic today. I have a dream. Yesterday being Dr. King Day, I read a few of his, I have a few of his books. I listened to a few of his speeches. Very inspiring. Very, very, very inspiring. And I hope that you have some time to listen to them. Listen, these people had a lot of things to tell us. Whether you are black or white or striped or polka dot, words of wisdom have no color. And it was just amazing. And this I have a dream speech, hit me powerfully, and I realized that history, life, countries, cultures, people, directions are often changed or ordered by people who carried a dream. Dreams are blueprints that God plants in our hearts in order to build a life or to build an amazing future. Dreams, I call them divine downloads that he puts into our spirit, and those downloads fires us up to achieve amazing things. And today in this episode number 121, I've come to encourage you, I've come to encourage somebody that there is a dream that God has put in your heart. It doesn't leave you, whether you are asleep or awake. That dream is there, it's right before you. I know that over the years, that dream has been assaulted, it has been insulted, it's been denigrated, it's been doubted. And because of it, you have been misunderstood and misconstrued. But listen, keep that dream alive because the dream will never die. Let me tell you something. Dr. Martin Luther King was gunned down. He died. He was shot. An assassin killed him in Memphis, Tennessee. But yet, even though the dreamer had died, the dream never died. So the dream may die, but the dreamer may die, I beg your pardon, the dreamer may die, but the dream will never die. Every man, every woman, every boy, every girl who affected their world carried a dream in their heart. They may not have been understood in their generation and in their time. They may have been hated, and I'll come to that. But still, the dream outlived them. Even through the book that God gave to us, the Bible, that was put together for our admonition. You realize that people who had dreams, like physical dreams, and those dreams that are downloads from heaven, it moved them into something. A man was running away from his brother. His name is Jacob. His brother wanted to kill him, and he was running away for dear life. He got to a place. He was hungry. He was afraid. He was poor. He was desperate. He was alone. And that night, his only hotel was under the open skies. He couldn't even afford a pillow because of the haste with which he ran away. So all he could afford was a stone pillow. But that night, when Jacob lay his head on that pillow, the Bible tells us that he had a dream. And in that dream, the heavens were open for him. A portal was open. And there was a ladder set in heaven. And there was angelic activity. Out of that, Jacob bumped into something that had never been revealed before. And that is the church. Jacob said that this is the house of God. The presence of the Lord is here, and I didn't know it. This is the house of God. Listen to me, my friend. A young man who had just become king, Solomon, he had a dream. And out of that dream, he contacted divine wisdom, and he became arguably the wisest person who ever walked the shores of this earth. In fact, his proverbs were 3,000, and his songs were 1,500 or 50 or something, I beg your pardon. Some magi, some wise men, we talk about them during Christmas. They followed the star all the way to where the boy Jesus was. And just before they went back, they had a dream, and God used that to guide them. And today we want to look at one of the greatest dreamers ever, whose dream kept him going, whose dream pushed him on. And whatever dream you have, may the example that this young man set become your example, push you on to become everything that God has ordained for you to be. That dreamer, the great dreamer, is Joseph in the Bible. Joseph in the Bible. We're going to pick up a few Bible passages. I told you that this is not another church service. It's not another Bible study. But being who I am and believing what I believe, I know that the greatest wisdom comes from the wisdom of God's word. And the lives of people that they lay before us, it was Wordsworth Longfellow who said that the lives of great men remind us that we should live our lives sublime. And departing, leave behind us footprints in the sands of time. There are men and women who have left their footprints in the sands of time, and they give us an example. So today we're going to look at Joseph and some of the things that he did concerning his dream and how his dream came to pass. I'm telling you again, whatever it is, keep that dream alive. Have a dream. If you don't have one, ask God for a dream. I'm sure every human being is born with a dream. Let it drive you on. It may look outlandish. It may look scary. Listen, if that thing doesn't scare you, then it may not be of God. You need the hand of God. That dream will never die. You think that the dream is there. Today, I pray that the dream will awaken again. You've gone through a lot of turbulence. You've gone through ups and downs, and you've gone through all kinds of delays and disappointments and frustrations. But that dream is still alive. You are going to dust it. You are going to blow the dust off it, and you are going to set that dream on course. I believe in you. I believe in your future. I believe in your present, and I believe in your future. Don't let your past dictate to your present. The past is gone forever. It's a cancelled check. It has no promise. But we're going to go. So let's look at Genesis chapter 37, verse number 5 to 10. Then we'll look at one more verse right there, talking about Joseph. I hope you are getting blessed. It says that, now Joseph had a dream. You can put your name there. You can put your name right there. Put your name there and said, I had a dream. I have a dream. Dr. King said, I still have a dream. I have a dream. Let that dream be there. And he told his brothers, and they hated him even more. Sometimes, be careful who you tell your dreams to. That's another matter. That's another matter. Let's go. And so he said to them, please hear this dream which I have dreamed. There we were binding sheaves in the field, and behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright, and indeed your sheaf stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf. You don't need a gift of interpretation to know what he meant. And his brother said, shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. Remember that they hated him for his dreams and for his words. For his dreams, they hated him for his dreams. Now let's go on. Then he dreams still another dream. My friend, if your dream is dead or dying, dream another dream. Dream another dream. And he told it to his brothers and said, look, I've dreamed another dream. And this time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to me. It was getting outrageous from the sublime to the ridiculous. And so he told it to his father and his brothers. And his father rebuked him and said to him, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to you to the earth before you? Man, this is something else. The father was like, uh-oh. Listen, that was very, very powerful. And remember we said that the brothers hated him because of the dreams and how he told it. The father was in consternation because of the dreams. You know why? Sometimes people don't like you. And don't forget that Joseph, if you know the story a little bit, his father really doted on him. The father loved him. In fact, the father gave him a coat of many colors. But it was not the coat of many colors that elicited the hatred. Look at verse number 19 of Genesis chapter 37, and I'll show you something. Look, one day his father sent him, his brothers were looking after their sheep in a place called Dothan, Shechem, Dothan, those places where there was enough grass. And the father has sent him to take food. Normally, people want to kill dreamers who come to help them. No, we normally kill our messiahs, don't we? We don't like people who help us. It's another matter for another time. And as he was coming from the horizon, look at what the brothers said. They said to one another, look, the dreamer is coming. The dreamer is coming. He was identified by his dreams. Let's go ahead. The dreamer is coming. The dreamer is coming. The dreamer is coming. The dreamer is coming. That is amazing. And they said, come therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit And we shall say some wild beasts have devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dream. Why did they want to kill him? The dreams. The dreams. So there are a few lessons that I want us to learn. Then I'm going to step out of your way today. I hope you are learning something already about your dream. Listen, you cannot be a dreamer and not face some of these things I'm going to talk about. But there's a way that you can position yourself that when people go down, you don't go down with them. When people want to drag you to their level, listen, don't do that. They have enough experience in the hole, in the mud, that they can whip you with it. Don't do that. So there are a few things that I pick up here that I want to discuss with you too. Number one, dreamers are often hated. I think about Dr. Martin Luther King. Some people knifed him. The police hounded him. He was arrested for some of the flimsiest excuses. His home bombed. He was accused. He was betrayed by his own people. Dreamers are often hated. Never forget that. Joseph's brothers couldn't stand the fact of his dreams. Please understand this. The reason why some people can't stand you may not be because of what you were, but it's because of what you carry. Don't forget that. Remember we read verse number 20 of Genesis 37? They said, we shall see what will come out of his dreams. The dream, that is what drove the brothers to hatred. So it wasn't just because his father loved him and doted on him. It wasn't because of the coat of distinction. It was because of the dream. Hear me, my fellow living being. Hear me. The reason why some people can't stand you, the reason why people are dissecting your every move, the reason why they are on your case, even though they don't know you, it's not because you did anything wrong. Sometimes we even celebrate people who do things wrong, but it's all because of the dream that you carry. Have you noticed that pirates, they don't go after empty ships? Have you realized that people don't talk about people who do nothing and carry nothing? Listen, where the indictment that people put against you like a badge of honor, I'm telling you, just look at what his siblings did to him. Look, the hatred. Let's go to Genesis chapter 37 again. Look at verse 23 to 25. All because of the dream. Joseph, when he had come to his brothers, you saw what they did. He was carrying food to them. And yet, listen, dreamers, you carry a dream. You carry something for your generation. Pastor, you carry something for your people. Politician, you carry something for your nation. You have the heart of your nation, and yet human beings will want to destroy you. That is how human beings have been for ages. Many times it's only after we are gone that holidays are made to our honor. It's only after we are gone that memorials are built. Abraham Lincoln was vilified during his time. It was only after he had gone that he became arguably one of the greatest presidents of our great nation. But look at them. When Joseph came, number one, they stripped him of his tunic, the tunic of many colors. They just didn't, it identified him. They didn't like that. Let's go ahead. And then they took him and they cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty. There was no water in it. But this is what really touches me. And they sat down to eat a meal. I will not continue that. They sat down. Number one, they stripped him of that tunic, of that coat. Somebody is not happy because God has dressed you. It is not your fault that you are blessed, and yes, somebody cannot handle the fact that it is not your fault that God has favored you. Somebody is not happy with you because people like you, but it is not your fault that people like you. Sometimes I tell people that maybe you are a monster, that is why people may not like you. Maybe you haven't stopped to love people, that is why people don't love you back. But you see, that coat reminded them of the favor, which was not his fault. It was not Joseph's fault. So apart from the dream, the coat also reminded them of many things. But the unkindest cut of it all was that the Bible says that after they put him in the pit, they sat down to eat a meal. Human nature, humanity. Human beings, we can be very interesting. Please don't be part of a people who sit down to eat and rejoice over the misery of somebody, especially people who have been sent to help you. Do you know that we are the only creation of God that can celebrate over a person's demise? We are the only people who can dance on a person's grave. We are the only people who rejoice on people's downfall. We are the only people whose other people's failure and pain excites us. There are people, they are only happy when they hear somebody is gone down. It's a fact, my friend. It is a fact. Go on social media. The people can do things. I remember I was talking to a pastor the other day, and the pastor said, Ambassador of Hope, it's like you do so many good things and nobody reports it. People even doubt it. But when somebody reports that you've done one thing wrong, people wouldn't even check and people would just believe it and share. And I said, that is human nature, my friend. Dreamers, they pay that price. They pay that price. We celebrate people. Listen, don't be that bad. Step up. Walk the high road where you can celebrate other people's good. Or at least keep quiet. They hated Joseph. Dreamers are hated. They sat down to eat a meal. Oh, if only they knew that one day, when the charcoal seller's son would wear a white shirt and also sit down with them to a bigger meal. And that day he was not in the pit. He had not lost his coat. Now he had a coat that the Pharaoh gave to him that nobody could take. My friend, listen. Hold on to that dream. Your parents, I beg your pardon, your family, your immediate family, whatever, they don't believe in your dream. They don't support your dream. They hate you because God has blessed you out of the family. Listen, vindication is always found in the womb of time. They stripped you somehow, but God will dress you. So the first lesson you have to understand, that dreamers, they are often hated. Second point, dreams or dreamers, no matter what, they still carry favor. No matter what, listen, they sold Joseph, they picked him from the pit, they sold him to Ishmaelites, the Ishmaelites sold him to Gibeonites, or whatever. It's like he became a third-class slave. And still, what he had could never be taken away from him. Never forget that. No matter where people put you, what God has given to you will never be taken away from you. Look at Genesis 39, the first 2 verses. Very interesting. It says that, they sold Joseph, and Joseph found himself in Egypt. And Genesis 39, 1 and 2 says that Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. And Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Ishmaelites who were taking him down there. He had now a second-class slave. And the Lord, listen carefully, dreamer, the Lord was with Joseph. And what was the outcome? He was a successful man. Where? And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. I pray that somebody gets something. Look at something there. Number 1, he says that the Lord was with Joseph. Never forget this, dreamer. Let it be said that the Lord is with you. Do you know the plans that people had to take you down? What if the Lord had not been with you? The psalmist said that if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, the enemy would have swallowed us up. The seas of life would have gone over us. But blessed be the name of the Lord, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. My soul has escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowler. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord. Never forget this. Know that God is with you. His favor, that is favor. The Bible says that the Lord was with Joseph. That is favor that nobody can take away. That is presence that nobody can take away. But I want you to note it. Please give me the scripture again, because I want to show somebody something. Because it's something that people and cultures and churches and businesses and other people must understand. Sometimes we just smooth over some of these things and we don't get it. Let's go to the next verse. It says that the Lord was with Joseph. The Lord, remember, he was a slave in Potiphar's house, away from his country, sold as a slave, third-class slave, but God was with him, and the outcome was that he was a successful man. Yes, but what interests me again was that he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian, which means he had not been emancipated. He was still a slave, and yet he was successful. What is it about us that make us think that the only way you can be successful is when you live somewhere? The only way you can be successful is when you don't serve under anybody. That the only way you can be successful is when you break away. No. You can be promoted in wherever you are. When God is with you, when favor is with you. The only thing is that sometimes we don't apply wisdom. You don't have to break away from anywhere. Somebody has been lying to you. My friend, young man, young woman, somebody has been lying to you. I remember somebody said, no, you are not a branch, you are a tree. Stand on your own. That's fine. If that is what your dream is, that is okay. But Joseph was promoted. Look at verse number 5 and 6, right there in that chapter. It's just amazing. I'm talking about the fact that everywhere, as a dreamer, the Lord was, and he says that from that time, he had made him an overseer in his house and all that he had. And the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. Dreamer, when you carry something, wherever you go, you are a blessing. And it will be noticed. I want to ask you today, at your workplace, are you a blessing? In your church, are you a blessing? In your family, are you a blessing? The book says that, and the blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in the house and in the, oh my God. Listen, can you stop? Listen, I want you to just pause for just 5 seconds and pray that prayer. That Lord, everywhere that I am, be with me. Let me be successful. Let me be wise. And let the blessing of God be upon me wherever I am. Even if I'm working for somebody, even if I'm working in corporate or wherever it is, let there be a blessing there. Don't become somebody who leaves a place and people clap because you are gone and say good riddance. Dreamers, my friend, they still carry favor. They still carry the presence of God. That is Joseph. Number 3. Dreamers are always faithful in their assignment. Wherever you go, there will be dream killers. There will be people who would want what you have, but because they don't have it, then you all have to descend and lose everything. Joseph carried favor. Remember that. The Lord was with him. But there's one thing that I've learned in this life. Favor attracts. But the interesting thing is that it doesn't only attract good. It attracts good, the bad, the ugly, and anything in between. Favor brings attention. There are people who will rejoice because you have favor. There are others, they don't like it. And because they don't have what you have, their modus operandi is to destroy it. Look at Joseph. I mean, Joseph sometimes, he makes me a little bit jealous. The man it was like he had it all. The favor of God. He was successful. He had wisdom. He had everything. The gift of dream and interpretation and everything. And the Bible also says that he was handsome. He was good looking. And that thing attracted. Enter, historians tell us her name was Ziluka, Mrs. Potiphar. She was also very ravaging. And the story is very well known. You know, she gave Joseph a proposition and Joseph refused it. But he could have had it. He could have done whatever he wanted to do with that woman of influence. Because after all, it was just him and her. But who knows what the outcome would have been. Look at verse number 8 in there. What the dreamer said. Faith is not always to have something. You must also have faith to refuse, even though it looks good. Even though they have made you an offer that you may not be able to refuse it. He refused and said to his master's wife, my master does not know what is with me in the house. He's committed all that he has in my hand. I'm trusted. That is what he said. How can I not be faithful? So Joseph said to the woman, thank you, but no thanks. Listen, Joseph could be trusted with 7 years of plenty, or because he could be trusted with another man's property. Joseph could be trusted with being second in command to the greatest throne at that time, Egypt, because he could be trusted with Potiphar's property. Yes, because of that, he lost his name. False charges, he was framed, things were said. In fact, in the annals of Egyptian history, they still believe that they attempted to rape that woman. But you and I know from the good book that it wasn't so. There are times that you stand at places and accusations that you have absolutely no defense. In fact, Joseph left an exhibit A. He left his coat and it was used against him. What could he say? But listen, when you are in the hands of God, I've said it, vindication is always born in the womb of time. He lost his name, his good name. He lost his reputation. And then he lost his freedom. He was put in prison. Listen, if you're a dreamer, watch out for dream killers. Not every opportunity that is presented to you is a good thing. Not every door is a good thing. Some doors are trap doors. You've got to be very sensitive. Joseph, he passed the test with distinction. Even though to the world of Egypt, he had failed, but in the eyes of God, he had passed. Listen, I tell you that there are times, there are situations, you may not have no defense. You may not have defense. You may not have a voice. But listen, keep trusting. Keep doing well. It is just a matter of time. Never forget that. So dreamers, he was faithful to Potiphar. He was faithful in an assignment. And even though he paid a terrible price, he was honored in the end. So let's go through our points again. Number one, dreamers are often hated. Understand that it comes with a package. It's like shoes and tongues. They go together. Number two, dreamers, they carry favor no matter where they are. They can sell you anywhere. They can try to demote you. They can put you anywhere, but you still carry the favor of God. The Lord is with you. And then the third thing, dreamers are always faithful in their assignment. Be faithful. The fact that they sold you, the fact that you had a dream, it doesn't manifest and you see something negative, doesn't mean that you should cut corners. Let's look at the fourth one, then I'll begin to run. I hope you are learning something. Let's see. Who do we have here? Who do we have here? Yes. Mabel Achambo, God bless you, Mary. Emma, good evening to you. Suzanne, God bless you. 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 Most Reverend, God bless you all the way from Destiny Arena. God richly bless you. Jacqueline, good evening to you, my daughter. God bless you. God bless you. So much. I can call out Eddie, my man. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm trying to do that. Felix, good evening to you, Felix. God richly bless you. Yes, Apostle Grace, Bishop, the snare is indeed broken in the name of the Most High God. God richly bless you. God bless you. Yvonne, you are here. Hey, Rask, yes, vindication is found in the womb of time. Yes, you heard it from me. God richly bless you. Yes, let me check out my YouTube crowd. Let me check my YouTube crowd. Let's see. Wow, so many of you here. God richly bless you too. Emmanuel Yakubuaten, yes, God, all the way from Kokofu in the Ashanti region. God bless. Thank God for the miracle of technology. Mackiness, God bless. Yes. Serious truth. Yes. Dreamers. Wow. Okay, now let's go right ahead. Let's go. Hey, Rosie Million, I just got you. God bless, Rosie. I hope you're doing very well. So good to see you right here in the house. Right, number four, dreamers, no matter what, they still serve with their gifts. If you're a dreamer, remember, you'll be hated, you'll be assaulted, you'll be taken through things, but please, because of that, don't lose that gift. I want you to remember this. The reason why Joseph found himself where he found himself was because of his dreams. He told his dreams to his brothers. They hated him. They stripped him. They sold him. He found himself as a third-class slave from the Gibeonites to the Ishmaelites to the Egyptians. So he's out of it. It brought him a lot of trouble. But when you read the story of Joseph, even in prison, he still used his gifts to serve. That is interesting, isn't it? Look at Genesis 39 and 21. In the jail, look at something there. The Lord was, remember, because of Mrs. Potiphar, he's in jail. But even in jail, the Lord was still with him and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of everywhere dreamers go. I want to take just 5 seconds. I want to pray for you. Father, everyone that is listening to me today, no matter where people have put them, no matter where they find themselves, I pray that you show somebody mercy. Show us mercy, all of us. Father, show us mercy. Mercy that comes only from the portals of your throne. Mercy that does not come by the human institutions, but mercy that comes from above. Father, show us mercy. There's somebody today listening to me. They have no plea. They have no argument. They have no defense. All we ask for is mercy. Mercy that triumphs over judgment. Yes, we may be guilty. We may have been caught like a fox with blood on our jaws, like a fox that is caught in a chicken coop. But Father, let mercy speak for us. When judgment, the sword of judgment is pointing towards us because we made terrible mistakes, Lord, let mercy speak for us. It was David who said to the prophet that, let me fall into the hands of God, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hands of man. I pray that somebody, if you fall anywhere, fall into the hands of God, because his mercies are great. May the Lord show you favor. May the Lord show you mercy. May the Lord help you. May the Lord do so for you on your job, at places where they shamed you, at places where they put you. May God prosper you in strange places. Wow. Joseph, he was put, because he stood for what is right, he was put in prison. But even that, I want to show you a couple of things in here. Because sometimes people send us into places. I want to say something. I was reading this account of Joseph from the Psalms, the book of Psalms, and the psalmist says something interesting. He said he sent a man before them, Joseph, whom they put in chains. Then I stopped and I said, I thought they sold him. So the brothers thought they were selling him, but rather God was sending him. Sometimes in the eyes of people, they are selling you. But in the predetermined counsel of God, he is sending you. Sometimes they think that they are ostracizing you. They are taking you out of a place. But it may be the hand of God sending you into places. Look at Genesis chapter 39 and verse number 20. When he found himself in prison. What kind of prison? Because we are talking prison. There were many prisons in Egypt. But Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were confined. The king's, which means the prison that Joseph found himself, was not an everyday prison, was not your run-of-the-mill prison. No, it was not a prison for pickpockets or miscreants or murderers. No, that is the wisdom of God. There were two things. That is, number one, it was a political prison. The king kept his prisoners there. People who may have been in the palace, people with different political opinions. So I say it is a prison of political knowledge. Listen, God knew that Joseph was going to sit on the throne one day. The dreamer was going to go to some places of power. How would he know the intrigue and the politics of Egypt if he never went into a place where the king's prisoners were, where he would listen to different political opinions? Let me tell you something. When you walk in the steps of God, things may be ugly, things may be unpleasant, but the mind of God that have seen where you are going before you get there can orchestrate your step. Let me tell you something. Sometimes the stairway to the palace, to the throne, may not go up. It has to go down. I call it downward rising. Sometimes God takes you down in order to find your staircase to go up. It was a political prison where the king kept his political prisoners. Let me tell you something, dreamer. When God has a purpose, he can even use dungeons as your classroom. Joseph had to learn politics, different political opinions, how people thought in the palace, in the prison. The second thing is that it was also a prison of promotion. Where was Joseph going to encounter the butler and the baker if he hadn't gone into that prison? So sometimes, my friend, the manifestation of your dreams will happen through some interesting places. But what will interest me with the topic that dreamers still serve with their gifts, even in the prison, Joseph was still using his gift. When the butler and the baker had dreams, and they told Joseph, honestly, if it were me, zip the lip. That's my emoji. Because I had a dream. And look at what the dream has taken me through. To the pit, to parties that people were eating on my demise or on my misery. The dream has taken me to Egypt. The dream has caused me to lose favor, caused me to lose face. Now I'm in this prison minding my business, and you are telling me dreams again? If I were Joseph would have said, no, I don't do dreams. Sometimes when we get disappointed, we forget that when you carry a dream, disappointment is part of the price that you pay. Listen, sometimes I've learned in this short life that I have, that sometimes your greatest gifts can bring you your greatest pain. I want to repeat it. Your greatest gifts can bring you your greatest pain. Don't ditch it. Don't walk away. The same gift that landed Joseph in the pit, the same gift that landed Joseph in the prison, the same gift took him to the palace. What was the gift? Dream. I still have a dream, my friend. I know that dream, that gift has caused you a lot of trouble. And so you don't, me no want trouble. I don't want, listen, go back to that dream. God gave you that dream. God gave you, wake up and dream again. Listen, remember the dream. I pray that you will remember that you have locked it away because that dream has given you too many problems. You sing and people in your choir can't stand you. You preach and people in your whatever, they can't stand you. You do good and people can't stand you. You smile, they can't stand you. You are generous, they can't stand you. You do things, they can't stand you. Listen, and so you don't want trouble. So listen, dream again. That dream, I pray that the dream never dies. It won't die. Remember the dream. Review the dream. Renew the dream and release the dream. I want to say it. I love that. Remember the dream. Review the dream. Renew the dream and release the dream. Can somebody put it out there for me, please? I said, remember the dream. Remember your dream. Don't let that dream die. Then review the dream. Go back and look at it. Renew that dream and then release that dream. And like Dr. Martin Luther King, tell the world, I still have a dream. When Joseph told the brothers the dream and they hated him, he went and he came back and he said, I've had another dream. My friend, dream another dream. Dream another dream. If Joseph had kept quiet, maybe you and I would not be talking about him several millennia down the road. Because the dream had landed him in prison. And landed him in a foreign land. And then in the prison, people are having dreams. He could have shut up. But he interpreted a dream of the butler and the baker. And these people, somehow they forgot about him. Sometimes people may forget, but there's a reason for it. And then one day, the biggie himself, the Pharaoh, he had a dream. And guess what? 2 years later, Pharaoh had a dream, and then supernaturally, the butler remembers the dream. Remember when Joseph interpreted the dream to them in Egypt, in the prison, he said to them that please, he said to the butler, when you go, please remember me to Pharaoh. They put me here to Sonjat. I think he was getting a little bit tired, but the man forgot. You know what? Maybe if he had remembered Joseph immediately, the only vacancy at that time was a baker because the baker was beheaded. But Joseph, dreamer, listen, you are not a baker. You are a prince of Egypt. You are second in command in Egypt. So sometimes people forget so that God will remember you. Sometimes people forget and it's supernatural because your time is not yet. To everything, there's a season, a time for every purpose. When that 2 years came and Pharaoh dreamed that dream, somehow, supernaturally now the butler remembers. And he said, oh my God, I've done wrong. I remember now there's a guy in prison who interpreted my dreams and it came to pass. And instantly, prisoner number so and so and so and so was called. Joseph didn't rush. He took his time, shaved his beard because Egyptians didn't like beards, changed his prisoner attire. Listen, you have to dress for where you are going to. There are people who are very gifted. They don't land the job because you don't dress for where you are going to. It matters. That is wisdom, but I won't get there now. Every favor carries its dressing. Every space carries its dressing. And this goes for the young generation today. You've got to understand that. I don't care how I dress. It's what it, listen. Somebody even quoted to me, listen, God, it doesn't matter. Man looks on the outside, but God. And I said, did you hear that? He said, God looks on the heart. No, it's half. God looks on the heart, but man, humans will look on the outside. Never forget. So dress your heart for God and dress your outside for people. You need that. That is wisdom. But Pharaoh remembered, the guys remembered. Don't give up on that dream. Don't give up on that dream because somebody that you did good for never said thank you. When people say thank you, it is for a day, for a moment. But when heaven says thank you, it's for an eternity. You may be hurt today because you helped and it ended in pain. But listen to me. Timing and purpose will always win. I have a dream. Let me give you a last one. I hope you've learned something today. The dream never dies. Oh boy, the dream never dies. The dream never dies. Somebody is. Listen, I have a question for somebody. Do you realize that Joseph interpreted dreams for people the baker and the butler. He never thought they could do anything in return for him. I have a question. What would you do if you had the opportunity to do things for people who you know may never be able to pay you back? What would you still serve? Would you still help him? Joseph used his gift to help prison inmates, people he never thought maybe they could never do anything for him. But it was one of them, a temporarily ungrateful one, who remembered at the right time. Listen, my friend, don't get angry. Don't get bitter. Being a pastor, I want to talk to some pastors. Sometimes, you are not appreciated, you are not honored, and I know the feeling. I have to be very vulnerable. I know the feeling. Sometimes it's painful. But let me tell you something. Sometimes all you need is just one person who will remember. Then all the ones who chose the way of dishonor fade into insignificance. Do you remember what the brothers said when they saw him at Dothan? Going from Shechem to Dothan? Said, there comes the dreamer. Let's kill him. Let's put him in a pit. We shall say a wild beast devoured him. We shall see what comes out of his dreams. And when they put him in the pit, they sat down to eat. You read the story, it's so beautiful. I've read the whole story about twice today. This time, Joseph made them sit at table and they ate merrily. You know something I learned there? One of the greatest exhibits of forgiveness, total forgiveness, is what Joseph did. Joseph's greatest test was not the temptation of Mrs. Potiphar. Compared to what I'm going to tell you, his greatest test was not the temptation of Mrs. Potiphar. His greatest test was when he was in power and his brothers stood before him in Egypt. What would you do if it was you? What would you do, dreamer? If the people that have done all these things to you came and stood before you when you had power, authority, to do anything you wanted to do with them, what would you do? Joseph, what a man, what a dreamer. Hear me. Learn to forgive those who assaulted your dream. Learn to forgive those who lied about you. Learn to forgive those who have been ungrateful. Learn to forgive. And you know something? Joseph's forgiveness was total. How do I know that? You remember that he never told Jacob. There's no record in the Bible that Joseph told the old man that your sons, my brothers, they sold me. He never told them. Into his grave, he never knew how Joseph got to Egypt. He never knew. He never told the old man. That for me is total forgiveness. Listen, when you have forgiven people, can you not tell people? Can you keep it? And in fact, after the old man died and the brothers were jittery, he still calmed them down that, listen, I'm not God. It's okay. We are good. We are cool. That to me is total forgiveness. When you make the people who have troubled you, who have tried you, who have done things, relax in your presence. You know, there are people that when they have wronged you and you say, I've forgiven you, and you see them happy, the way you look at them, you are telling them, don't happy yourself. Remember, you hurt me. Don't do that, my friend. You are a dreamer. You carry a dream. Let me conclude in 2 minutes and I'm done. Joseph proved that when you carry a dream, the dream never dies. They sold Joseph. Joseph was gone. Years is gone. He was only 17 years old when they sold him. Now he's in his mid-30s. He had taken on a new culture. He was dressing like an Egyptian. He was walking like an Egyptian, but he was thinking like a Hebrew. He had the wisdom of God. There was famine. You know the story. I'm not going to get into everything. It's not a church service. It's a wisdom time. And when the brothers came, you know, he played all kinds of interesting tricks. I think I would have done the same. I would have fun. But the day of reckoning came, Genesis 45 and 3. Very humbling. Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph, the dreamer. Please put your name in there. You are permitted to. I am Joseph. I'm Ofosu-Appiah. Is my father still alive? The brothers, because of dismay, shock, they could not answer. Let that be your story. This year, 2024, let that be your announcement. When they relegated you, they broke you, they took things away from you, they denigrated you, they did everything just to break you. May God cause you to stage a comeback. And with a voice as sweet as Joseph that day in the palace, announce yourself to them and say, I am Joseph. I am the one you rejected. I am the one you walked away from when the kids were little and you thought I could never look after them. I am the one that you broke. I am the one that you destroyed. I am the dreamer that you hated. And remember, he says something, verse number 8 of Genesis 45, then I'm done. Look at what he said. He said, you didn't send me here. Look at what God has made out of this dreamer. Number one, he has made me a father to Pharaoh. Wow. A father to Pharaoh. That was Pharaoh's counselor. All the things that you are going through is preparing you for something mighty. Number two, the Lord of all his house. And number three, a ruler of all of Egypt. A slave, but the dream. Remember, he had a dream. His brothers will bow, his parents will bow. Dream of preeminence. They assaulted the dream, but the dream didn't die. Let me make a statement. I'll put it out there for you. Every dream has a price that you pay. Every dream. Dr. King, he paid for his dream with his life. Every dream has a price. Are you willing to pay it? The rejection, the lies, the accusation, the frustration, the misunderstanding, the misquoting, whatever it is, every dream has a price. But you know something, in the same tongue, I say, every dream has a price. Every dream has a price. Every dream also has a price. No matter what, hold on, my friend. Hold on to that dream. That dream will come to pass. I want to tell you today, I still have a dream. I hope you've learned something today. Dreamer, you will be hated. Not because of what you drive or what you wear or where you live, but because of what you carry. Never forget that. God placed it there. It is not your fault that he has favored you. Stay faithful with your assignment. Use your gift to serve. The gift has given you trouble, use it to serve. They didn't like that gift, but somebody else is looking for that gift. What people are rejecting in your life, somebody is looking for. It's a lifesaver for somebody. Never forget that. Whatever it is, don't be bitter, don't be angry. The dream will never die. My name is Ofosu-Appiah, Ambassador of Hope. I hope you have enjoyed it. Listen, make sure that you join us. Tell other people to tell other people. If we've been a blessing to you, send us a message. Let us know how we are doing. We look forward to seeing you next week for another episode. It's been great having you here. God bless you. Have a good evening. And I'll see you when I see you. And remember, you still have a dream. Bye-bye.